but let's actually, I think I'll have to get to Excel for today. Okay. So last week, you guys remember we went into some use cases. Sorry?
Conditional formatting.
Conditional formatting, and in that use cases. Actually, there is one thing I wanted to tell you. I think if you guys remember, give me 1 second while I'll just open that up. So we, at least it seemed like we didn't know adequately about how it was working, right? And then basically, I'm just looking that up. Okay, let me see if it's here. So I have some additional information, just some experimentation I did, and then I found out a little bit about how it works. So I'll just share that, and then we will move over to the other stuff. Okay. So let me know if you're able to see my screen with the last week example. Are you guys able to see that yet? Okay, hold on. I think I'm not sure why. Okay, I hope you should be able to see that now, right? Okay, so okay, so the way it works is something like this. So we were figuring out at that time, actually, let me see, this one, right? So yeah, okay. So what we did here was we did this conditional formatting, okay, and then we said, okay, what if you modified, I think we removed the dollar symbol for the column, is that correct? And then we were trying to figure this out. In fact, let me just make that until G, okay? Remember we put it at 200, right? We called it margin, and then, okay, so click OK. So now let's say 200, oops, okay. And also, let me just look at this, not greater than 4.5. It is basically what you have to do is not F but G, okay? And this is here that we had changed. Okay, so G4. Okay, I think this dollar symbol, I think should be all right. We'll see. We are essentially trying to focus on this particular one, and then clicked OK, and then clicked OK. Okay, and now we noticed that this column got highlighted, right? And we were trying to figure out why. So actually, let me do this. Let's say I'll put in 195, something like that, so that we have some other number, right? 357, okay, something like that. And then right now we anchored it to G4, and that's the reason why you can see this whole thing is getting highlighted. And to figure out how exactly it's working, see, basically this is how it works. We'll also experiment it. So if you look at the top left cell, okay, so what it does is it basically applies as though you're applying on the top left cell and then copying the same thing across, okay, to the selection. Okay, that is how it works. So let me just sort of show that to you, for example. Okay, so if we had copied, so basically what did we do? We said G4. Okay, so if there is a formula, so let's say I say equals G4, all right? Here it's referring directly to that. Okay, so I would just copy paste that. Then what happens? It's now referring to H4, right? So for this particular cell, it should, what is there in H4 should influence the formatting in D4 based on this hypothesis. Is that correct? Yeah. So let's see if that is correct or not. There you go. Okay. So you can continue to do that, and so on and so forth. Got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll remove this. And what's the reason the entire column is getting highlighted?
Because we applied the rule to that particular range.
We anchored row to 4.
Exactly. We anchored the row, and that's the reason why it's getting applied to the entire thing. So for example, if I just modify this, okay, to not include the anchor, okay, then it will behave differently. Okay, then wherever, in fact, this is not supposed to be highlighted. We will just see why that is happening. It's now taking sort of 4.5. That's the reason. So it should have been greater than 400. Sorry, 200. Okay, so then it will behave differently. There you go. Oh, we said greater than. So we'll have to make this 201. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, clear until now? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think that's the main thing that I wanted to share from last time. But yeah, last time we did work on conditional formatting. I think you guys have a decent understanding. I thought I will do more advanced conditional formatting, but given that the time is limited, this time I'm shifting to formulas at this point in time. Okay. So all right, so let's get into this. Okay, so there is a good workbook called Getting Started with Formulas. I'll use some part of this. Okay, so if you look at, let me see, so a good chunk of what I'm saying, some of you may be aware of it. I apologize, because I also wanted to ensure that those who do not will also sort of catch up with it. There could be some that you might learn, but if you have something more, you please add, so that everyone knows what it is. Okay. So all right, so let me just get to the anatomy of the formula. Okay, so this is the anatomy of a formula. If you look at this, so see, a formula typically contains the following things. Okay, it must start with an equal to sign. Okay, you could also have other operators. So for example, let me just take this and yeah, something like this. Okay, so you can have equals. Okay, let's say I'll say these two. Okay, and then hit enter. Right. So, but you could also use a plus symbol instead of an equal to. Okay, it will have the same result. Okay, so let me just put some numbers here. So on and so forth. Okay, I'll just copy paste this just to, yeah. Similarly, you can also use a minus and use the same function, and it will still work. Okay, only thing is it will have a negative symbol because there is a minus at the beginning. All right. However, this is not true with a multiplication symbol. That won't work. You can check this. Okay, first of all, it's not even giving the formula because it is not a formula at this point so far as Excel is concerned. Okay, so sorry. Okay, all right, this doesn't work. Similarly, divided by symbol, actually I'm trying to type that, but typically when you do this, the menus will get highlighted. But let's get in, let's do this, let's say sum, and then let's do the same thing over here, and let's see if it works. It doesn't work. Okay, so you could potentially use a plus or a minus, and then the formula will still go through. Okay, and why is this useful? It is useful, particularly plus is useful because, see, you have a keypad on the right hand side, right? Typically, if your laptop has a keypad, right, you will have a plus symbol, a big plus symbol on the top right. Okay, just below the minus. All right, so when you have that, this will be very useful because you don't have to reach out to equal to. Okay, in that case this will be useful. Okay, but in any case, the software does take equal to automatically, so it doesn't matter whether you have the plus or not. Okay, this is just a tidbit. All right. Okay, so let us get back. Okay, so here if you look at this, so a formula always includes what's called a function. Okay, sum is an example of a function, and it has to have an open bracket. Okay, followed by various parameters. Okay, so and each parameter separated by a comma. Okay, and once all the parameters are done, you have a close symbol. Okay, so basically I'm also keeping into account folks like Shravan who may be new and it might just throw up an error or something like that, right? So whenever, sometimes what happens is, see, the reason why I'm talking about this is sometimes if you don't have an adequate number of closed parameters, close parentheses, then Excel will throw an error. Okay. And if you just read that, you'll be able to know where exactly it is, or you have to experiment where it is, where you have to close it. And when you close it, will start working. Yeah, just to sum up, right? You have equal to symbol, function, open brackets, right? Various arguments, right? Or parameters, whatever you might call. And then after it's over, you close. Okay. So the number of parameters can be fixed or variable. Okay. So for example, if you take, let's go to an example. Okay. So if you take sum, okay, equals sum, right? So what you can do is you can actually give any number of parameters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any number. So you can see here, you typically get help as well whenever you type in a formula. And you can see you can actually add any number more. I think you would have a limit more like 256 or something like that. It is not the cells, but just the number of parameters, separated by commas that you can give. Okay, so this will work. So no problem. Okay, as opposed to this, for example, in some cases there will be fixed number of parameters. Okay, an example of this is VLOOKUP. Okay, when you have a VLOOKUP, right? So let's say I'm looking up for this one. Okay, and so there's something called a table array. Can you see this in the sort of help that you get right below the formula? You don't have a dot at the end. Do you see that? It means that you have fixed number of parameters. Okay, and also there's a little bit more. I'll just come back to this. Let me just complete the formula here. Okay, so let's say I do this. Okay, and I close the bracket and I hit enter. Okay, so basically it will tell you there are just too few arguments to this function. You have to add adequate number of arguments to this function. Clear, na? Right? So in some cases, basically it will tell you. So this could be basics for some of you, but it's worth noting some of these things. Okay. So there is also one more thing that I would like you to know, which is that some of the parameters are mandatory and some are optional. Okay, so if you look at this, the way you can figure that out is, by the way, just looking at it, the parameter that you are currently in the help, you will see that it gets highlighted with a bold. Okay, all right. So if I just move my cursor, for example, that will change. Okay, so it will tell you where you are, so that you can then mentally figure out what to write there, right? So yeah, you can also see, for example, that like I mentioned, there are some, maybe I didn't mention, there are some mandatory ones, there are some optional ones. Okay, how do you figure out which are the optional ones? Typically, optional ones are towards the right hand side. Okay, and here in this particular case, you can see what it's calling range lookup is in that square brackets. Okay, so that tells you that it's an optional argument. Okay, so let me just give you an example of this. So let's say this one. So column index, let's say I want to say 2, right? And I hit enter. Okay, so did we enter everything? So that. Okay, so I hit enter. So it will go through. Okay, so what happened here? So basically, okay, 6. All right. Okay, cool. So what happened here, right? So if you look at it, there are two things I will quickly tell. We will get back to VLOOKUP a little later, okay? But the main point that I want you to observe here is that even if you did not give the optional one, it still went through. That's the main thing to get here, right? Okay, clear now? So, but if I were to remove this one, right, including this, it will give me an error. Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, so that is so far as the mandatory and optional are concerned. Okay.